Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. All right, first question. How long would it take someone to go from 20 kg for 3x6 on weighted shins to 40 kg for 3x6? Is this a 2 to 3 year goal? I'm finding this lift difficult to progress on. You don't know how long something's going to take. That's those sort of questions, and Amrit, you're a coach yourself. All right, you are a coach who uses conjugate. You know that's a bullshit question. Have you ever been able to prescribe time frames like that as even a loose guideline? No. Of course not. Of course not. And I'm not even going to get into the point with weighted chins. I'm getting to where I do not like to prescribe them for anyone who isn't obsessed with them. I think we need to avoid supine grip stuff in the long term. That includes curling chin-ups. I'm leaning more in that direction these days for a lot of reasons. But that aside, let's even call it a neutral grip pull-up. 20 kg. For those unaware, that's adding a second plate. It's adding a second plate for 3 sets of 6. It's going to a 2-plate weighted chin for those sort of reps. That's a lifetime goal. If you're someone who isn't ultra lean, who trains legs, so you actually have lower body weight, you're not at a extremely low body fat, stuff like that's a lifetime goal. Doing multiple work sets with 2 plates on a weighted pull-up or chin-up. Like, in what world do you think that's not a lifetime goal? The average guy is not going to walk into a gym and start training and reach numbers like that in 5 years. Okay, let's put into context, what would that be equal to? Like what sort of strength level are we talking about comparatively? I would say it's probably easier to get to a 5-plate squat than to hit these goals, and I do mean that. It's probably a slightly less extreme. I would place something like doing 2 plates aside for multiple sets of 6 on a weighted pull-up or chin-up. I would place that in the range of a 550 to 600 pound back squat. Right? 5.5 to 6 plates aside on a squat. I'd place it in the strength range of over 6 plates on a deadlift per side. I would place it in the category of 3.5 plates on a bench. Probably pretty similar strength level comparatively. Right? In other words, reaching a 3-plate bench is probably an easier, shorter term goal than this. Okay? Probably an easier goal. In fact, if we look at the strength standards I'd given for those big 5, this is stronger than that on the pull-up side. It's stronger. It's way stronger. Because instead of doing just over 2 plates for 1 rep, this is 3 sets of 6, which means it's about 80% of your max. Right? Because if you can do this, you can do at least 3 plates for 1 rep, if not more. Because again, you get factoring in body weight, you're talking about, again, 20 kg plates. 3 of those still wouldn't be a 1 rep max if you can do those for reps. Might be closer, depending upon your body weight, might be closer to 3.5 to a 4 plate max. Anyone think that that's equal to a 500 squat or a 315 bench? You really think those are in the same strength realm? So you're like, well, why am I struggling to get this? Well, I don't know, Amrit. Why are you struggling to get to a 160 kg bench? Why are you struggling to reach a 220, 230 kg squat or a 250 kg squat? Because these are extreme elite numbers. You're pursuing an elite level pull-up when you're not elite on your other lifts. So you tell me why? Because you don't have elite strength. You need more years of training, a lot more years. Right? It's a pretty simple answer. All right, next question. Hi, Jason. You stated that fat people have much stronger and dense bones than skinny people since you have to carry much more body weight. My question is, if I walk/jog with a backpack of 10 kg, would I get the same benefits? I'm 89 kg currently. If I wore a backpack with 10 kilogram plates, would I get the same benefits as if I were 99 kg? All right, here's the problem with the silliness of the question. I want you to think this through. All right, I want you to think this through. Fat people also have more muscle than skinny people because they carry more body weight around doing everything they do. Do you think that you're going to gain a bunch of muscle by wearing a 10 kg plate walking around? Right? And let's look at the bone density. There's a couple of reasons they have higher bone density. Number one, they carry more weight around, right? Number two, they eat more food. Food is anabolic to bone tissue, not just muscle and fat. A lot of components of your diet increase bone density by themselves too. All right, you're looking at all these factors. See where we're going with this? Do you really think this is the best way to achieve any of these goals? Because you know who has a higher bone density than fat people? People who lift weights. Whoa. People who lift weights have higher bone density than fat people when they're not fat. In other words, the weight lifting dramatically increases bone density more than carrying around extra body weight. Right? What you're doing is only going to work if you quit lifting. If you decide, I'm not going to lift at all, I'm going to do no resistance training and want some of the benefits of being a fat person without the health negatives. But you could lift weights. It's like by that same token, you're not going to gain a bunch of muscle doing this either, are you? You'll gain a little bit if you don't lift. But do you know who has more muscle than fat people? Wait for it. People who lift weights. Whoa. Okay, here's the next point. All right, bone density. All right, people who lift weights have higher bone density than fat people. Do you know who has a higher bone density than people who lift weights? People who lift really heavy weights. Okay. You take a group of lifters, you take a late novice, an intermediate, and an elite level power lifter and measure their bone density. What do you think you're going to see? It's going to scale with their strength. Just like muscle mass scales with progressive overload. If you want even more muscle, you need to progressively overload with your weights. If you want higher bone density, you need to get stronger and lift heavier weights. Low reps increase bone density more than high reps do. So let's come back over to your thing of carrying around an extra 10 kg for 1,000 steps. You would get more bone density if you put 100 kg on and did 10 steps. But you'd get even more if you lifted heavy weights and just didn't do any of this nonsense. That's the problem with the question. You're looking at one factor and saying, hey, if I did what these people do to get this benefit, instead of what we know gives us the most optimal way to increase these things. This is the problem you're looking at. You're not looking at it in terms of what's the best way to reach my goal. The best way to reach your goal is to lift some heavy ass weight and to eat protein and calcium and magnesium. That's the most efficient way. Now we could get into other stuff, pharmaceuticals and things. If you want to take it to the highest extreme, you would be using certain anabolics with the heavy weightlifting. Right? But suffices to say, lifting heavy is the best thing you could do. Right? Lift heavy. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.